What if the most important economic signal of our generation isn't interest rate or jobs report, but a single number, $700 billion? Welcome to Times of AI. And today we're not just looking at a spending figure, we're analyzing the silent war for AI sovereignty, decoding the strategic imperatives of Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, and revealing the actionable framework you need to navigate the coming decade. The future is tied to technology, and whose isn't? You need to understand where the foundation of the next economy are being poured, brick by brick, and that's expensive bricks. The hyperscalers are executing a capital strategy so vast it redefines industrial policy. This is a structural shift from a digital economy to an intelligence economy. And for our community of builders, investors, and strategists, watching this is where the rubber meets the road. We need to think three moves ahead. So, to understand where we are going, we have to see where this started. So, let's zoom out. 5 years ago, AI was a promising tool, and today it's the core bread and butter of every hyperscaler's growth story. And the data is unequivocally training. Training a frontier AI model now costs over $1 billion in compute alone. And this isn't incremental, it's exponential. And the hyperscalers have rolled up their sleeves and are engaged in a brute force engineering race. They're not just buying chips, they're securing the entire supply chain from custom silicon to a substation power, building what can only be described as the 21st century's equivalent of railroad or the electrical grid. We need to think in first principles. Intelligence requires computation, and computation requires infrastructure, and infrastructure on this scale requires unprecedented capital. So the $700 billion uh, payment is basically a form of down payment. And this is where the theory meets the real world strategy. So what's the strategic imperative? It's total control of the cost performance frontier. In this race, efficiency is the only weapon that matters, and the goal is to build a competitive moat so deep and so wide that it becomes insurmountable. Think about it at every step. Uh, Startups or enterprise AI projects, every government contract will run on AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. The hyperscaler takes a margin on every single transaction. It's the most powerful tool, tool booth ever conceived. And we need to separate signal from the noise here. So the signal is that the software margins are migrating downward to the infrastructure layer, and the company with the cheapest, fastest, and most reliable AI compute will capture the lion's share in this value in this ecosystem. And the spending isn't defensive, it's profoundly offensive. It's about defining the playing field itself so everyone has to play the long game on their terms. So, how do you operationalize this insight? Let's focus on the critical path. You need a framework. So here's your action plan. First, map your dependencies with brutal honesty. Whether you're an investor or a founder or a tech leader, audit your exposure. Are your holdings or your company's core product reliant on a single cloud's proprietary AI stack? You need to know this at the drop of your hat. Second, actively seek optionality. Don't just get hung up on splitting hairs between GPT-5 and Gemini Ultra. The model layer will be commoditized. Focus on the structural position. Prioritize companies and strategies that maintain leverage. Those pursuing multi-cloud open source frameworks or hybrid architectures, they have a little bit of wiggle room in a world of walled gardens. And third, and most critically or crucially, follow the capital. So the $700 billion is a heat map of the future. It's flowing into AI chip design, advanced cooling systems, and energy or green energy. And these are leverage points. The winners in the next 5 years won't just be the hyperscalers themselves, but the arms dealers and infrastructure providers enabling them. So position yourself accordingly. So we have looked at the genesis, the winner take most strategy, and your action plan. And so let's synthesize my forecast uh, on this, which is that capital explosion will lead to the first 10 trillion company by 2030, and we are witnessing the consolidation of a new form of economic power. When push comes to shove, the control of intelligence infrastructure is control of the future. And this isn't a tech story, it's a central business narrative of our time. I'll be tracking every development and breaking it down right here. And I want you to pressure test our assumptions. Uh, what's your take? Which hyperscaler has the most defensible position? And what are the second order effects we are missing? So let me know in the comments. And this is Times of Now. We don't just report here the news, we analyze the architecture of the future. Stay sharp.